What's up, champs? In this video, I'm going to be sharing 3 of my top chest moves for building a lean and chiseled chest. It doesn't matter if you have man boobs, it doesn't matter if you have a bird chest. I'm going to be sharing some do's and don'ts on exactly what steps you need to take to build a lean and chiseled chest. Now, I personally believe every single man on this earth should have a nice built chest. It's just one of those parts of our body that women just love and drool over, along with that V-taper waistline. But you gotta have a nice chest too. And so with that said, let's get to that. Now before we dive into these 3 moves, I want to talk about a little bit of the anatomy of our chest, okay? And so we have our pectoralis major and we have our pectoralis minor, but we do have certain parts of the pectoralis major and minor that I want you to pay attention to, that I want you to be aware of. The first part of it is our clavicular head, okay? The clavicular head is more along the upper part of our chest, right? And you can look at it as like the upper medial part of our chest, and then you have the lower part of your chest, but the clavicular head is gonna be more of our incline chest press exercises. And then we're gonna have our sternal head, which is gonna take up the bulk of our chest, which I'm gonna get into the exercise that hit on all these different angles. But you have the sternal head, it's gonna hit on the medial part of our chest. And then the lower part of our chest is pretty much still our pectoralis major. And so that's actually our abdominal head, okay? Which, you know, you have some people that just say the clavicular head and the sternal head, but there's actually 3 heads. And the abdominal head is closer to our abdominal muscles towards the lower part of our chest. And so with that said, we're about to dive into it. I just want to give you kind of like a screenshot of exactly what the chest anatomy looks like before we get down to the nitty gritty with these 3 exercises. Now also, just know, these are not the only exercises that we can do to hit these muscle groups. I'm going to be sharing some alternative exercises that you can do. Let's say, for example, you don't have certain machines or equipment at home or at the gym that you can use to hit these exercises. I'm going to give you alternatives to doing these exercises. Okay, so let's get to it. So the first exercise is going to be incline chest press. Now, obviously, I'm doing this with the machine. Now, first off, you're gonna be able to do this exercise with not just the machines. I also enjoy doing the incline chest press with dumbbells, and so that way I have more free range of motion. And that way, you know, you can just switch it up. So if you don't have a machine, you can always do dumbbells. You can even do the barbell as well. All 3 of these movements work great, but in this particular video, I'm showing you and demonstrating with one of my favorite chest machines, which is the incline chest press. And so that's it. This is the first one. It's gonna hit on more of that upper part of your chest, the clavicular head, and a little bit of the sternal head as well. And so this is the incline chest press. And like I said, you could do it with the dumbbells, the barbells, the machine. It really doesn't matter. What matters the most is you're training, you're doing the exercise properly, making sure that you get full range of motion, making sure that you're going at a great pace, not going too fast. And so that way you can really get that engagement and focus on pushing your chest out. Your chest should actually be pushed out while you're pressing and doing each exercise, so that way you can get more stretch out of your chest. But also know, we're not just working on chest right here. We're also working the front of our shoulders. We're also working our triceps during this particular exercise. As you'll notice, a lot of these chest exercises that we can do, we're also working the front of our shoulders as well as our triceps. But just know, I say that because you're gonna find a lot of times you'll see some people, they'll wanna do shoulder raises, like front shoulder raises to work the front of the shoulders. But I kind of feel like it's overkill, because when we do chest exercises, we're working the front of our shoulders more than enough to not have to do front shoulder raises. We can also just work on the lateral and the rear part of our shoulders, because, you know, we're working so much on our front shoulders when we're doing chest exercises. And so the first exercise is going to be incline chest press. You can do it with the machine, barbells, dumbbells, doesn't matter. Exercise number 2, we have chest flies. This is by far one of my favorite exercises for building a nice and built chest. Now, the reason why is because the majority of our chest is the medial part of our chest. That it hits the majority of our pectoralis major. right? And not saying that this is the only exercise, but it gives us that 3D pop. It gives us that 3D look, that thickness in the middle of our chest, and so that our chest pops out, right? And so with that said, that's why I love this exercise so much. You can do this with the machines, you can do this with cables. Now, one way I would definitely recommend you not do this, especially if you're not advanced or like a seasoned lifter, is doing dumbbell chest flies, because it puts a lot of strain on your shoulders. I look at certain exercises as high risk and lower risk, and this particular exercise, if you do it with dumbbells, it's gonna be more high risk on your shoulders. Now, you just don't have as much room for error. And so that's why I always recommend guys do it with, the machine or the cables. And so that way you can avoid that high risk of, injuring your shoulders. But by far, if you want that 3D pop in your chest, you want to do chest flies. And so that way, so you get that pop in your pectoralis major area, because it covers the bulk of our chest, as well as the front of our shoulders. And as you notice, we're not working any triceps when we're doing chest flies. It's all chest and shoulders. And this is by far my favorite exercise for building the chest. And chest exercise number 3 is dumbbell chest press with the flat bench. Now, a couple of things. The first thing is, of course, you don't just have to do the dumbbells. You can do the barbells or you can do the machine. All 3 of these exercises work really good for building your chest. But one thing that I love about doing dumbbell chest presses is that you want to make sure that you don't have your elbows flaring directly outward. Okay? If you want to get maximum engagement, you want to get the most benefit out of training your chest as well as your triceps, is you want to tuck your elbows a little bit. Okay? And as you can see in the video, my elbows are tucked just slightly closer to my body rather than flaring directly out and being perpendicular to my body. So you want to have a little bit of a closer angle to your body with your elbows, and so that way we're training more chest, we get more engagement out of training our chest as well as our triceps and the front of our shoulders. And this is by far still one of those exercises that are going to help not just the upper part of your chest, but also the medial and the lower part of your chest as well. And so, some guys, they'll talk about doing the decline chest press, and that works great. And to be honest with you, I've really never done the decline chest press, but I still have a pretty nice chest. And if you're just doing the flat bench dumbbell chest press, or the barbell chest press, or even chest press with the machines, and then I just focus on the upper chest as well. And so, that said, if you hit all 3 of these moves, and you can do the alternatives as well, all right? You're gonna build a nice, toned, chiseled chest. So a couple of things to pay attention to before we wrap this bad boy up is you wanna make sure that you get proper form before you start going heavy. I'm pretty sure if you watched a lot of my videos, you know I'm a huge advocate of going heavier, but it's relative. You wanna go heavy relative to what fitness level you're at. So if you're somebody who's just starting out, don't throw a whole lot of weight up on the bar and find yourself, injuring yourself just because you're trying to, stroke your ego, or you're trying to impress your friends, or maybe that gym crush, you're trying to impress the gym crush at the gym. You want to focus on nailing down the proper form first, getting good range of motion, and then progressively starting to add more weight. And so that way you're getting stronger, you're able to feel the muscles that you're working. We call that muscle engagement, okay, or mind-muscle connection. You want to feel the muscles that you're working. You want to feel that chest and not just feel heavy ass weight. You want to feel the muscles, okay? Number 2, you want to focus on having a good pace. Some guys I see, they'll try to blitz through the exercise. They'll try to speed through the exercise, and it's really hard to feel the muscle if you're trying to speed through the exercise because you're trying to avoid the burn. But you want to feel that burn. You want to feel your muscles tighten up when you're doing each and every exercise. That's what it's meant to do, okay? And so the pace that I tend to tell people to use is, a 3 to 4 seconds going down, and then a 2 to 3 seconds coming up. And so you want to count 1, 2, 3, 4 as you're going down, and then 1, 2 as you're pressing up. Or 1, 2, 3 as you go down, and then a 1, 2, 3 as you come up. And I'll go so far as to say, if you're not in a position where you can lift heavier, okay? And I do this sometimes, where if I'm at a hotel gym or if I'm at my apartment gym and I can't lift really heavy weight like I would if I went to a traditional gym, then I'll go slower to increase the intensity of that exercise. And so let's say, for example, I'm doing dumbbell chest presses, and normally I'll do 100 or 110 pound dumbbells, but let's say the gym at my apartment only has 50 pound dumbbells. Well, what I'll do is I'll go slower going down. So I'll do something like a negative. That's what we call it. We call it negatives. But it's also known as the eccentric phase, the lowering phase of the weight, okay? And so when I'm lowering the weight, I'll go slower. I'll take 4 to 6 seconds going down. So I'll go a lot slower going down, and then I'll take 2 to 3 seconds coming up. But that lowering phase, as I go slower, it's going to increase the engagement. I'm going to find myself feel my muscles burning a lot more, even with the 50 pound dumbbells, even though I can lift much heavier. And so we can use pace to increase the intensity of our workouts as well. And so that's a pro tip I just want to throw in there for you guys. And so if you ever find yourself not being able to lift as much as you normally would, you can use your pace to increase the intensity of your workouts or increase the effectiveness of your workouts. And then even if you're still lifting heavy, you still want to go at a certain pace, and so that you can feel the muscle, so that you can get the most out of the exercise. So with that said, those are just a couple of tips. Those are some things that you really want to pay attention to when you're doing these exercises. And so that way you can build a nice, strong, toned chest. And for sure, if you want to get rid of man boobs, you gotta drop your overall body fat percentage. Okay, there's no way around it. If you're just focusing on lifting weights, if you're just focusing on doing all these great chest exercises, because I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some trolls down in the comments, oh, well, you can't just do these exercises to build your chest without lowering your body fat. Yes, I know that, guys. So I just want to address that. So it's probably still going to be some trolls talking about it, but you got to nail down your nutrition. And so that way you can drop your body fat. And as you drop your body fat while lifting heavy, you're going to be able to build that muscle mass. Okay, you're going to be able to build that muscle mass, and eventually you'll see your muscles. You'll see your chest muscles. I'm talking to the guys who have man boobs here. You'll be able to see your chest muscles because you're dropping your body fat percentage from proper nutrition. And as you do these things the right way, I'm telling you, you'll have a nice, toned, strong chest in no time. And so with that said, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, comment, share any topics or questions that you have down in the comments below. Any videos that you want me to drop moving forward, drop it down in the comments, let me know. And be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the button to turn on notifications for whenever I post a new video. All right, guys, we out. Let's get to the action.